धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः।
ओम सहनम भवतु सहनं भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनाधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति ओम शांति ओम शांति रे। Let us sit down and study together. Discussion, we sharpen each other's intellect. May we not bear any ill will towards each other. Peace, peace, peace. Let peace prevail.
Yeah, we looked at chapter 9 before, but I think 929 to 34, I mean, it sounds like only few verses, but it's like, it's like a small form capsule which has got a big kind of effect. So that's why I think we decided to start from 929, which is just 929 itself is an amazing verse. In just one verse, Krishna packed so many things that I think we need to explore that. It's like segment by segment.
Actually,
Samoham sarva bhuteshu. I mean, this is beyond kind of any understanding. Like we talk about equity and diversity here. And in India, we talk about, different class system or caste system. And with one sweeping statement, Krishna wipes it all out. He is equality and love beyond any bias. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. I'm equal to all beings. I mean, it's not just bhuteshu. Is it only human being, or when he says bhuteshu, it is all living things?
inanimate, animate and inanimate object, everything. Sarvabhuta.
It includes kind of
Everything.
everything. And he said, I'm equal to all of them.
Yes.
I mean, this statement is a kind of amazing, it's like equalizer kind of, it's not the movie Equalizer. I mean, but yeah, I mean, everybody is equal.
Yeah, it's a universal nature. That's
Yeah.
all.
And then he says, Name dveshyosti na priya. So he defines it that nobody is dear to me and nobody I hate. And this, just one sentence, it's like he says, and this sounds like, okay, it's a great noble statement. I'm equal to everybody. I don't hate anybody. I don't love anybody. How do you relate to anybody? It's like, that's where, it's just mind boggling. How, it's like at one stage, it sounds like he's udasin, he's like a masked face, or he has no emotions and no love, and it's like everybody is kind of the same. Sometimes I wonder, Amitav, it's like when we went to medical school, and it's like how many we were, 140 or some
Mhm.
all students, boys, girls, it's like we didn't know A from B. I mean, you didn't know me, I didn't know you. Yes, some came from one college or one school, so they knew each other. They had some thing, but and for the professors and teachers, we were all new. So in a way, we were all same and equal, but we all became unequal. Some people were favorites, friends, all those things developed as we, grew our, time there. I mean, spent our time there. So when Krishna is saying that he doesn't love anybody, doesn't hate anybody, and in the next line, I mean, he says that ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mayi te teshu chapyaham. So it all depends upon how you relate to him.
Yeah. May I interject one thing? It
Sure,
is
no, go ahead, interject.
when we talk about being attached or detached from somebody, basically we are projecting ourselves towards them. So to me, this verse mentions that although he has created everything, he is not projecting himself to anything. He has got an equipoise mind towards everything.
No, yes, I agree. But he says that those who bhajanti tumam, I mean, those who are come to me, then I'm
I
closer
reveal
to them.
myself. I He doesn't say that uh, I kind of get very attached to them. He says I reveal myself to them. The inner
Well,
knowledge.
here it's, yeah, this one is not revealing. He says they are in me and I'm in them. So
Yes.
it's it's a closer relationship he's talking about.
Prior to that, he mentioned that he is not, although everything has come out of this transcendental life energy of the universe,
Yeah.
okay, this energy is not bound within those particular creations. Now, what he says at this point, that yes, when they have this realization, they become, I would say, they realize me, my true nature.
It's not just one way. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's right.
I think, it's like Krishna also comes closer to them. So that part, I mean, he explains that further. He invites Arjun to, be his bhakt. Because by becoming a bhakt, you come close to him. And when, or you get his grace in a way. I mean, I don't know, I don't have any other word for it, but in one sentence he says, it's like I created everything and everybody is equal to me. But the next sentence, I mean, this has been my whole dilemma until I come to this verse. How does then God react, relate to anybody? So the relationship comes not from God, but from you and I. If we have love, we have surrender, then he reciprocates.
Yes, I mean, that's the whole idea of devotion. The whole concept of devotion is to get rid of the ego. And then is the realization, the
Yeah.
closeness to God or Brahman. Okay, and that's all.
I'm glad you mentioned this ego part, because it's like many people believe that you are erasing yourself when you are in devotion. It's not erasing. It's not erasure of your individuality. It's it's love, it's surrender, but it's not like you don't exist. So ego goes, but your other identity, which you can say role identity, suppose we use the word role identity,
Yes.
that role identity, Arjun is a warrior. He remains a warrior. He continues to be a warrior. We are, say, doctors. We continue to serve our population, right? So that role identity stays, but the ego identity goes. Is it fair to say?
Yes, previously we did discuss this one, that ego gives us the feeling that I am the doer.
Yeah.
When we are devotion, we are the agent of the deed. So
Yeah.
that's what he's talking about, being agent of the deed in devotion.
So in a way, that devotion and love is a way to build a relationship with Krishna or God, or you know that's my take on it. Because if you don't take that one step towards God, you will stay away forever.
Yeah, you say that he did mention in this chapters.
Knowledge
I
is one. Yeah, here he is talking pure devotion at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he has talked about many things, previously.
Actually, what he talked about true knowledge is the realization and devotion.
Yeah.
And to that he earlier added conviction.
Yeah. Samoham sarvabhuteshu. Everybody is equal to me. Neither I love them nor I hate them.
Yes.
But the next step comes to yo bhajanti tumam bhaktya. So those who come to me with devotion and love, I am in them and they are in me. So that becomes very intimate though. So at one stage he says no, no love, no hate. But then if you approach him, then he becomes very intimate. I mean, he can guide you. You can work for him, It's like,
Actually, in Vedantic concept, this is the true Atma Sarup Gyan, when you realize your Atman and the Brahman are the same. Okay, so they
yeah,
are closely bound together.
right.
That's
There
all.
is no two.
That's right.
In love, it's like the other disappears, right? I mean,
That's right.
so, I was giving that example that may be a crude example that, in medical college, how none of us know each other, but then as we come close to each other, and we don't think it is love, but, some sort of, yeah, I mean,
Friendship.
closeness comes. We, and then, you group together, kind of, it's like form.
Yes, that's why many of the people, I mean, if you look at the path of devotion, Bhakti Marg, okay,
Yeah.
many people have uh, taken the God as a beloved,
Yeah.
okay, or the lover, okay.
Yeah.
So that is the essence of Vaishnav literature.
Yeah.
That is the essence of Sufi literature, okay.
Like
So
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Prabhupada.
all the Vaishnav literature, they
Hmm.
have, that's what they, it's okay.
Yeah.
So So that should be the part of devotion. That is the beauty of devotion, where you do lose the duality,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
that is another way of nitya yuktam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. What you are talking, you're going towards the kind of gyan and samadhi and nitya, being established. He is being very practical here.
Yes, yes. Devotion
In
is
this verse, he's very practical. He's saying, if you come to me, you're close to me. I have
yes,
an intimate relationship, but otherwise, I'm equal to all, and I don't have any favorites. But the next one becomes really remarkable in the sense, api chet suduracharo. He's taking the example of a kind of somebody who is a bad guy. I mean, this is very radical expression of what he's trying to say. Bhajate mama ananya bhak. If he starts, ananya bhav means, he's totally surrenders to me, totally devoted to me, even though he has a very bad record, in life. If he starts doing that, to me, he's like a sadhu, you know. So he is even the worst kind of person, that could be, if he starts that. But then the next verse, he does say that he changes. This guy changes.
yes,
So something changes in him and he becomes a different person. So
yes,
this transformation that happens by, this ananya, this is not a kind of, I think so, verse. I mean, it is a I know so verse. I mean,
exactly, exactly. And that is the beauty about bhakti. Okay? About knowledge realization, you go through logic, stepwise, this, that, okay, and then you realize. Okay, in bhakti, because you have surrendered and because you understand and you offer everything, so the duality is lost, you become a true devotee, and there is, howsoever or whatever the previous record has been, Once the surrendering happens, then you are in union.
The change starts happening, right?
Exactly.
I mean, Amitabh, before I came to this it's like 29, I had a different kind of idea about bhakti. I mean, I respected people who had bhakti and who go through devotion and kind of, spend their whole lifetime in that. I had a different look at them. I used to think them as weak people, kind of, people who cannot, Arjun looks strong, and I didn't ever see Arjun as a bhakt, it's like, but he is a bhakt. So the power of bhakti, I never understood until I come to here, because it's a very bold decision. It's not a weak decision,
Yes, it is
number
a.
one.
Mm,
And number two, it has transformative powers.
yes, yes, no question about that.
Yeah.
So when we talk about bhakti or the path of devotion, always it is selfless devotion.
Yeah.
Okay, and that surrendering or sharanagati that leads to this closeness.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
if you
mean,
look at Mirabai's life,
yeah.
Mirabai was the princess of one princess of Rajasthan, and she took Krishna as the lover or the friend. Okay, she didn't quote too many of Vedic verses or anything. She just took the path of devotion. She is one of the most important saints from India, and the path that she chose was devotion, and that's how she was a great soul.
Yeah, no question. But when I come to this 30 and 31, the story that comes to my mind is Valmiki. He was a Durachari, right?
Yes, yes.
If you remember his story, why don't you tell us? Because
Well, Valmiki was basically, I shouldn't say, I mean,
was he
Durachar
not
means,
a bandit or?
yeah, he was a bandit.
Yeah,
And
so
then
yeah, he was
actually the parallel stories also in Buddhist literature, the story of
Angulimal.
Angulimala. Yes, he was
Yeah, yeah. Tell
also
tell the story. Both. Let's
basically in a couple of lines, they were all, both of them were bandits. Okay, they did all kind of bad job, and then when they
So
took
let's
the
talk Angulimal first. He used to cut everybody's fingers,
yeah, and then wear it as
everybody
a
he
garland.
killed
Yeah, and we used to wear those fingers as of those people
as a
killed
garland.
as a garland, okay, and to front them. And when he went to Buddha, and then he got and he surrendered to Buddha, so he became one of the greatest devotees, and his
Yeah.
whole life changed. His internal change. Same story about Valmiki. Valmiki was also a bandit, and then through devotion, he realized what Krishna is or the
He was
God is.
devoted to Ram, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then his whole life changed. Okay.
Then he wrote the Ramayana, right?
Valmiki wrote the Ramayana. Yes.
Yeah. So that was one of the, greatest books of all times, at least for India.
So what you are saying is very important, that whatsoever bad deed one has done in past, surrendering takes that identity away, and they become one with the God or the Holy Spirit. That's
Yeah, they
basically.
transform. I mean, they become,
And
yeah, basically
that
they become a good guy.
yeah. And that story is almost repeated through ages in this whole world in
Yeah.
different, and that's what it is.
Right. Those were kind of examples, but
Yes.
it is, the whole point, Krishna is saying, it just happens, if they come and devotion to me.
And so was King Ashoka. Okay, he had bad deed, but when he understood Buddhism, he became a Buddhist, and his whole life changed.
I'm not sure Ashoka is a good example of that, because he was a king, and kings have to fight and do that
Yeah,
way.
but
Arjun may be a bad guy as well, but Arjun is
no,
not, because he's fighting for good.
yeah, but if you compare Arjun's character with his older brother Bhima, okay, these are
Yeah,
the two different states of spiritual enlightenment.
yeah.
Okay, so
No,
what do you just
so and when you say something, explain it for other people. I understand what you're saying. When you said, Bhim
Bhima
and
was
Arjun,
Bhima was a great warrior too,
yeah,
but Bhima was driven by revenge.
yeah,
Okay, Arjun here is not driven by revenge. He is an agent of establishing the dharma or the worldly order.
yeah.
That's what Krishna is teaching.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, because here is a great example, right? Krishna, Arjun, and Bhim are the same. Arjun comes to Krishna
Yes.
and shows his devotion, shows it. He wanted to be his student, right? I mean, he surrenders to Krishna, said, "Guide me. I'm kind of lost." Bhim, doesn't have anything to do with that. He's revenge, he's angry, he's desire driven, and he gets, through his life without any closeness coming to, Krishna.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true. He didn't have spiritual enlightenment, and he did not work as an agent. He worked as a doer
yeah.
rather than agent of the deed.
He was the doer, right?
Right.
No, that's there. But so after saying this, Krishna comes to again worldly things. And this, some people find it controversial. Um, Mam hi partha vyapasritya yepi syu pap yoniya, which is, it's like pap yoni. It's like, some people translate it, it's like, what is, I mean, some people are born not equal to others, and that happens in every society. And in the society at that time, like even now that we talked about DEI, like diversity and equity, even in America, there was slavery, there was discrimination, and slavery was abolished, but still there was, people were not as equal, everybody was not equal, some people
Stigma
were
was there.
equal than others. And that continues in some form or the other. So in his time, he's talking about striyau, which is female, like a stri, vaish, and shud. Vaish is people who do the, vyapar, which is uh, business.
Business people.
And then Shudra is the people who are, they do the service, cleaning and all that. But they were not treated equal at that time. But Krishna says that even them, if they come to me with bhakti, they are the same as Arjun coming to him with bhakti. And it's not just saying,
Exactly. That's
I mean, you can see like he goes and he's very, I mean, his whole life, he was very protective of women, because there were, it's like Kans had prison women, thousands of them. And even, Duryodhan tried to insult Pandava's wife, Draupadi. So they were not treated equal. I mean, women were not equal in those days, um, in society. And that's what he's saying, that even those who are socially, inferior or they are considered like sinful born, it doesn't matter. For me, they are equal. This is a huge statement in a time, when anytime. I mean, it is sarveshu kaleshu.
Yes. And that's a very, very important thing. Verse is very much misunderstood and quoted by people who, in modern days, says this is a discriminatory verse. But
Yeah.
actually, the meaning of that verse is even they are lesser or inferior according to his time, even if they come to God with devotion, with whatever little offering they have, even a petal of flower he mentions, okay,
Or just the mind, manas.
they become really close to him. And
Yeah.
his love showers them. And that's a very important.
No, I totally understand, because the controversy lies in the fact that people think that Krishna is reinforcing hierarchy. No, he's dismantling it. He's
Exactly.
just mentioning what is in the society, but he's saying, for me, they are still, the same, equal.
Yes. The important part of this whole verse is redemption is possible for everyone who surrenders themselves to God.
Yeah.
That is
Universal access to grace.
Yes. That is redemption.
Yeah.
So redemption is possible for everybody. It is not because it belongs to certain class or certain people. That's all. So
Yeah.
it is universal redemption is always available.
Sarveshu bhuteshu.
Exactly. Through a time and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. And this part of this verse is very important because people misquote it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm glad you mentioned
No,
that.
it's important to do it because some people equate it to Tulsidas, mention in Ramayana, but that is totally different way of mentioning it.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is a totally different, a kind, forgiving verse rather than it is a derogatory verse.
Right. And all you have to do is drop your ego.
That's right. And
He's not saying anything more than that. You keep your role identity, and whatever that role identity be, it doesn't matter because there is no discrimination. As long as you drop your ego, Krishna's door is open. So
and
even a sinner can enter that door.
exactly.
Even a socially downtrodden person can enter that door. And even the jnani can enter that door. The door is open. It's not like, your label doesn't matter,
That's
basically.
right. Your title position doesn't matter. It's
Yeah,
open
your
to
title, your FRCS or, your boards or.
Yeah, I'm very tempted to tell you something. At one time, I was very much enamored by some British degrees, and I was
Yeah,
preparing, even though I was in the United States, I was preparing for it.
yeah.
I saw some of those physicians from England who had those titles. They were working under our chairman's lab, and our chairman always write down only one little degree, MD. That's it. Okay, but his lab was producing a lot of paper. So so then one of the professor told me, don't try to do that. The point is whether you can, the job that is assigned to you, whether you can do it right or not.
Yeah,
That is the okay. And that's what, in essence, that's what is an extrapolation of this surrender that we talked about. It doesn't matter who you are, as long as we surrender, we give up our ego, realization happens, we become close to God. That's this basic thing.
yeah. If you have the ego, you're not coming. You know, you won't like the door. You probably want to stay out in with your ego outside the door. But once
Remember,
you drop the ego, come in.
Remember, we talked about in the previous chapter what does the ego do? Ego creates duality and a separation instead of being in union.
Yeah,
Ego always makes us think I'm the doer. Okay,
right.
so okay,
And there are many people who live that way and they do
you
well.
can
So it's
you can
not
do that.
like you cannot get anywhere if you have ego.
No. You can have ego, that's fine.
Yeah.
But this thing, being in the zone or being in that mental situation where you think that you are the agent of the deed, okay, that gives you a mental peace and total focus towards the work.
Right.
Otherwise, if ego we have, we will seek all kinds of things. We'll
Yeah,
seek.
you will be in that cycle. You
Yeah.
will be in that ego cycle, which
Will
is, you will be ups, downs, and everything.
yes.
And there will be a limit of how much you can perform. In my thinking.
Yes,
So once you
exactly.
drop the ego, like Arjun does, he becomes even a better warrior.
Yes.
So it's not that because you surrender, you become less, you become more. It's like less becomes more.
Regarding the ego, we remember that verse when we were studying gunas, kama eva krodha eva rajoguna samudbhavam.
Yeah.
Okay. So once we have ego, we'll have the up and down of our
Yeah.
mental state along with the situations.
Yeah. I mean, you will
So
be in that whatever rut cycle,
that's right.
you will live that life, which is okay. But if you want to live a better life, then, dropping ego takes you further.
That's
And,
true.
that's what the whole ninth chapter is about, right? I mean,
Yes.
then comes the final, invitation. You can call it, Krishna's invitation, you can call it Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto. So it's interesting, at least in ninth chapter, I found it almost throughout the chapters that we have been. Krishna gives this big picture, but then gives instructions or a homework to Arjun. So, it's like the same thing happened in ninth chapter, when he goes to 28, the verse 28, that after big talk um, about all these, what Krishna is, then he says, surrender to me. And now he says the same thing here, manmana bhava mad bhakto, put your man to me and become my bhakt, become devoted to me. And madhyaji mam namaskuru. And when you fold your hands and do something, you are opening yourself to the Paramatma or the God. So his very specific instructions or invitation, you can call it, because it's a personal invitation to Arjun, personal invitation to me and you, that if you do this, then you come to me. And it's not that you stop your role identity. Your role identity even becomes a stronger, you become a better role player.
Yeah.
This is the kind of final verse that it all comes down to. He starts by saying, everybody is equal to me. Then he takes down the path of how even a bad person can transform and how socially suppressed people can also come through his door. And then he, gives this open invitation. And it seems like this is a great ending of chapter 9. But you are going to summarize whole chapter 9. Do you want to just
Yes.
walk us through?
Yeah, just a few concept that is discussed here, that this chapter begins with what is the nature of Krishna, who is a metaphor for Brahman, I think, according to Vedanta. Okay. It is a transcendental nature, which is previously was described as abhyakt, which unmanifest, okay, akshara, which is imperishable, okay. It is omnipresent, omnipresent, and ever pervading. This is the transcendental nature of Brahman that Krishna is emphasizing.
Yeah.
Okay. But there is a manifest world where this transcendental energy manifests. Previously, we went through different definition, like what is adhibhutam, adhyatma, adhideva, adhiyagyam, karma, and what is the karma's relationship to birth and death in 18 chapter. Not 18, 8th chapter. Okay, so the transcendental nature is very, very important to understand, because this is the source of everything in this physical world. Okay.
So
Even,
one part was immanent. So whatever is there
yes,
is all pervading.
yes. Also in transcendental, which is, and the other one is immanent. Immanent is the physical world manifestation. So in other words, you can call it a material energy, which is present in the inanimate and animate articles or objects. Okay. So,
God is all pervading
yes,
and God is transcendental, both.
no, God is transcendental, Brahman.
Yeah.
The other one in the material world, he persists as the expression of everything perishable. Did you
Yeah,
get
but
that?
he's present in some form. That's
Yes.
why it's all pervading.
Yeah, that's why he's present in all those animate, inanimate objects as a material energy, you can call it. Energy manifested in the material or the prakriti.
His energy, unseen, unmanifest, the thing.
That is the transcendental energy, how he pervades this whole universe.
Okay.
In the universe, it is expressed as material energy.
Okay.
Okay. Now, how he describes that with the involution and reappearance of this universe, which he talks about the time in the time period of Kalpa, everything material disappears and appears, but it does not affect the transcendental energy,
Yeah.
okay, or the God.
Yeah.
This is an important thing to know. He does talk about what is the process of realizing this one is through yogic meditation rather than the ritualistic worship, okay, rather than the Vedic rituals and all those things, because they have limited results. When they are expended, these folks again come back and repeat that cycle. But once we realize through yogic meditation, we become free of the cycle of cause and effect of karma.
Yeah. So he basically does the hierarchy of, you
Yes.
can worship one God, this next level, highest level is Krishna or
Yes.
the
Then,
Brahman.
then he talks about the way to realize. Realization can be through the knowledge, okay,
Yeah.
and but the easier path is devotion, where you dissolve the ego and you become in union with the God. Okay. And whosoever they are fast deities, okay, they once they accept this God with total surrendering, after dissolving their ego, they realize and they become like in
One with Krishna.
continuous in union.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is the most important part, and that's why it is called a regal knowledge or Rajavidya. Or okay. So it is the supreme knowledge.
Yeah.
This is a very succinct way he presents it in chapter 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, on that note, it's Radha Vidya, Radha Guhya Yoga. That's what he calls it, the ninth chapter, which is royal knowledge. But I think the most fascinating part of this is what we talk today. With all that big picture, how does God relate to an individual? How does he become intimate with, Arjun or you or me? I mean, that is the encouraging part, I would say, because otherwise, yes, it is all, all pervading and immanent and transcendental, all those great words. But what is my relation with Krishna, or what could be my relation with Krishna, or God, or Brahman? That's where, this the last few verses that we read today, and I'll read it, read that my favorite one again. It's like Samoham sarva bhuteshu. I mean, this is phenomenal, that everybody is equal to me.
Yes.
And then manmanam bhava mad bhakto. I mean, put the mind to me, put the bhakti to me. And then, that's what brings closer or intimacy, or, it's like, as you said, in love, becomes two equals one. And we can stop here, and then we will work on the 10th chapter for the next,
It is the love which is universal, and it is easy to practice rather than going through all those different philosophical discussion, nomenclature, definitions, and all those things.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very important message, because majority of people would not take that path.
Yeah.
Okay, they can always take up the path of devotion, conviction,
Yeah.
and service.
Right. And,
Thank you.
as we talked last time, that it seems like from, 1 to 9, Krishna is building up to a point where Arjun is ready to visualize Krishna, and it will be coming soon. I
Yes,
think 10th is the
and that's
Vibhuti
very
Yoga.
yes, and after that, so basically, up till now, we are all conceptualizing it. Next, we are going to go and see in chapter 11 when we can visualize how this world works and what is the role of God and how we can be close.
मामकः पाण्डवश्च